Greetings to Prof. Shah. Me and my teammates are going to present about the designing personnel assessment for selection, promotion, or placement for the company X. First of all, I would like to introduce my team members. We are a group consists of 5 members. My name is Lo Yihui. Next is Lin Chan, Chia Sin En, Chong Hong Siu, and the last one is Nor Ayuni Hazika. Recruitment happens when there is a need to increase the number of employees in the organization. So human resource department have to perform their role to hire new members to join the organization. But how the hiring managers going to decide or going to select the most qualified candidates for the job applicant? So selection process is a systematic procedure to select the most qualified candidates among a large applicant pool. Hiring a correct person is very important as it can enhance the productivity of the company. But if hired a wrong person, the organization would have to bear a loss based on the time wasted, money, and also energy wasted for the employment development. The concept of the person environment and also the right man for the right job is applied on the selection process. Next, I will also share about some background of the Company X. Company X is the same company as we had interviewed for our assignment 1. Company X is a multinational company which involved in healthcare field. It emphasizes a culture of excellence, diversity, and inclusion by encouraging his employee to bring their unique perspective and skills to the table. The job position in the Company X that we have chosen is the Associate Product Development Scientist Nutrition from the Research and Development Department. As you know, the Research and Development Department is a backbone of the Company X. And the suggested assessment method that we have given are included interview assessment, resume evaluation, and general ability assessment.
Okay, so here is the next part, which is the job positions. So we decided to use a job associated product development scientist, nutrition as our target. So this job is to develop nutritional products for commercial launch in global markets by creating new formulas that will deliver an improvement to the products. And then the products have to comply with the regulatory requirements. And then the selected candidates or the employees have to support and lead the technical development of nutrition products of various complexity. So after that, the job scope for these positions is to help plan and execute the experimental designs to optimize the nutrients, microbiologicals, and physical quality of new products. So second, they have to interpret the test results and develop the conclusions and actions plans for the manager or the staff from other departments. So that means their communication skills through verbal and also the written updates and reports have to be good also. So that they have to help execute the commercial production readiness activities on new formulas through the launch of the products. So lastly, they have to participate in and present to cross-functional business team, including marketing, operational, qualities, purchasing, regulatory, and legal, because the departments, all these departments also have to need to understand what is the new launch product is.
The main objective of using assessment method is to identify the most qualified and suitable candidates for the job role. By using assessment method, it helps to scientifically evaluate candidate skills, competencies, and fit for the specific job requirements through job analysis. This allows organizations to make a data-driven hiring process, and the scalable assessment methods helps to combat subjective bias and compromising the quality of the evaluation. This helps to promote the diversity and inclusion in the organization. Besides, the assessment method can also assess whether a candidate's values, behavior, and attitudes align with the company culture, which is crucial for long-term success and also the job satisfaction. Next, the assessment method able to predict the job performance of the candidate. For example, the interviewer is able to know what their candidate's capacity by asking the experience-based question or the future-based question during the interview session. Moreover, the general ability assessment would also able to evaluate some skills such as problem-solving skills and the logical thinking skills. On top of that, the behavioral assessment and stimulation able to evaluate the behavioral consistency of the candidates. Furthermore, systematic assessment method can make the selection process more efficient by quickly identifying the top candidates from a large applicant pool. This reduces the time consumption in the hiring process. Hiring managers can make more informed and confident hiring decisions with comprehensive assessment data. While the while the benchmarking allows the hiring manager to place the candidate performance in context, facilitating better comparison among other candidates. This is able to strengthen the organization talent acquisition capability, and the organization reputation will be enhanced by implementing robust assessment practice in order to in order to attract a in order to attract more higher caliber candidates.
Interviews are a common assessment method to understand candidates' ability, soft skill, and overall fit for the position. Interviews help us to evaluate specific job related knowledge and the competency required for the applied position. The questions used in our interview assessment are specifically designed to target the competencies required for the job. Interviewers can get the information required by processing the answer acquired from the candidates. Each candidate will be asked the same set of questions to ensure an objective evaluation. We also will use a standardized scoring system to access responses constantly and fairly. We had incorporated questions from various type of interview assessment into the interview question list to guarantee that we receive and cover the maximum amount of information. This is to ensure we are able to get as much information as possible to help the interviewer in considering the candidates. Here are some examples of the question that will be incorporated in the interview, such as, why do you think you are suitable for this position? What has been your greatest professional achievement to date, and why was it significant to the position you applied for? How do you motivate and empower clients who are resistant to change or have difficulty adhering to their nutrition plans? How do you plan to continue developing your nutrition expertise and staying up to date with industry changes? And there are many more to go. Next is our administrative procedure. Our interview consists of several key steps to guarantee consistency and fairness in candidate assessment. These steps include creating an interview guide, setting up interviews, conducting interviews, and scoring responses. The first step is to develop a structured interview guide with a list of pre-planned questions. These questions are designed to assess how candidates think and react to the job-related problem. We also establish a scoring rubric to record and evaluate candidates' responses constantly. Next, we arrange the interview session, which can be conducted either via phone or in person. The coordinator they will schedule an appointment time and method with both the interviewer and the candidates. For phone interviews, candidates are advised to choose a quiet and comfortable place for the session. Before starting the interview, the interviewer provides each candidate with the same instruction and an overview of the process. This ensures that all the candidates are equally prepared and informed about the interview structure. Each candidate is asked the same set of 10 questions focusing on their knowledge of the position, interpersonal skills, and stress management. The interviewer reads the prepared question from the interview guide without adding any extra explanation. It is crucial that the interviewer does not offer any feedback or express strong reaction to avoid influencing the candidate's responses. During the interview, the interviewer writes down the candidate's responses in detail. This thorough documentation is essential for accurate and fair evaluation. Immediately after the interview, the interviewer scores the candidate's responses using the pre-established rubric. This prompt scoring ensures that the information is fresh and accurate, reflects the candidate's performance. If multiple interviewers are present, they should independently score the candidate before discussing and resolving any dispenses. Next, we have rating scoring. The score of the interview will be rated from 1 to 5, where 1 is very poor and 5 is very precise. The candidates will score 1 if their response demonstrates little to no knowledge, skills, and experiences related to the question, which means the answer is incomplete. They will score 2 when they show some basic knowledge but lack sufficient depth, specificity, or relevance to the position. 3. When their response meets minimum expectation, they manage to demonstrate a fairly good understanding to the concept and the requirement. 4 is considered good, where they can provide a strong, clear responses that show solid mastery of the subject matter. Answer is very specific, align well with the position needs. And lastly, we have 5, which is the highest, which is very precise, where the response goes above and beyond expectation. They exhibit comprehension, in-depth knowledge, skills, and experiences specific to the position they are applying for. This is how we interpret the scores. Each answer to the interview question will be scored based on the quality of the response using a scale of 1, which is very poor, to 5, which is very precise. The final score will be aggregated to determine which candidate achieved the highest percentage of full marks. It's important to consider not only the scores but also cultural compatibility and potential for advancement when making our decision. These are a few examples that can be taken for consideration for the candidate's answer. The first example is when the candidates are asked, why do you think you are suitable for this position? The candidates can provide specific examples that demonstrate their qualification and enthusiasm for the role, which can be given 5 marks for the answer. The next example is when the candidate was asked about what has been your greatest professional achievement to date and why was it significant to the position you applied for. The candidates articulated the impact of their achievement on their team and organization and connected it well to the responsibility of the role they are applying for. From this answer, the candidate was given only a score of 4. The final marks of the candidates will then be aggregated and will be compared with other candidates at the end of the interview session to see who fits the job better.
Resume evaluation is the process by which a recruiter reviews an applicant's or a candidate's resume to determine their suitability or whether their ability is suitable for the position. And this emphasizes the important aspects such as their education, their work experience, and also the certification and ability. So the main function of the resume evaluation is to serve as a preliminary screening to determine whether the candidate possesses the most basic qualification and also the ability.
So for the demonstration part, we already list out all the criteria that need to be considered when evaluating the resume to select the best candidate for the positions. So as you can see in the table, the first criteria is educational and a certificate. For those who applies for these jobs, have to have a bachelor degrees of food science or other relevant scientific fields also can. So because we are recruiting an assistant for the product development scientist in nutrition. So they must know well in this knowledge. So second, we prefer those with relevant working experience, at least 2 years. So because the candidate with relevant working experience have already demonstrated their ability to apply their skill, their knowledge in a real world setting. So it will help us to reduce training costs and time as well. So the next one is the soft skills also need to be considered, such as have excellent written and communication skills, teamwork, strong analytical skills, and also attentions to details. So lastly is the technical skill, which include Microsoft Word, Excel, and also PowerPoint, and also included for consideration.
So there are some procedure that for the resume evaluation. For the nutritionist resume evaluation is need to follow a strict procedure. Firstly, the interviewer have to define the criteria based on the job requirement, and they have to design a form for recording and scoring each resume from the candidates. So the organization have to ensure the evaluator understand the criteria and also the scoring system. So next, the organization can post the employment advertisement on different platforms such as Jobstreet, and in order to collect the complete resume from the candidate. So the job seeker is required to provide a complete and detailed resume, like including their educational background, their work experience, and their skill. Then a team of 2 or 3 senior nutritionists and also the human resource will form a planner of judge to score each resume independently. So it is to avoid the influence of each other and ensure the objectively and also the fairness of the scoring result. So lastly, the just score are summarized and the average score for each candidate is calculated. So for example, the score line is set and it is determined whether the proceed to the next round of the interview. There are 2 ways of scoring system that can use. The first is the point system and the second is the grade system. The point system is a scoring method in which each assessment criterion is assigned a specific score and the total score is calculated based on the candidate's resume performance on each criterion. So for the grade system is another scoring method where each evaluation criterion is categorized into different grades. For example, like the grade A, B, and C, D. So the grades are assigned based on the candidate's resume and their performance also.
This part is for the scoring system for the evaluators to score each resume after all the resume screenings have done and already select the potential candidates. So the evaluators have to give marks for the candidates. So of course, the higher the scores, the higher the possibilities for potential candidate to proceed to the next selecting employee process, such as interview. So as shown in tables, for educationals, those who have a relevant master degree or higher, of course, will get higher marks. Okay, so on the other hand, those only get relevant certificates will only get 5 marks. So next is the working experience. So those with longer working experience, of course, they will get bigger marks than the fresh graduates. compared to the fresh graduates. So after that, the last two parts is soft skill and also technical skills. So each soft skills and technical skills is worth 5 marks only. The evaluators can score the employees based on their self-assessments on their resumes, but this usually does not count for too large of percentage. So as the candidates can fake their skills also, so the more accurate scores can only be given at a later interview sessions.
Next, this is the example of the grade system, and it have four different grade A, B, C, and D. So each criterion is evaluated based on the information provided in the resume. And for the grade A is excellent if the candidate have a master degree and above in the nutrition course. So for example, if the candidate have non-nutrition related degree is unqualified. So a point system is often to use to evaluate the candidate, assigning a total score of 100 points across different dimensions based on their importance. And for example, for the candidate scoring is 80 and above are considered as highly qualified. If below 60 is seen as incompetent. So similarity to the grade system, if the candidate with an overall score of grade A or B are highly qualified. So it is help to this system is help the recruiter quickly identify the most qualified candidate for the nutritionist position and also save the time for the selection process.
The general ability test in evaluation they assess a candidate cognitive skill and attitude in an assessment of area. It examines necessary ability like numerical reasoning, verbal reasoning, and abstract reasoning. So this is very important for success in a variety job roles and sector. Overall, candidates who pass the general ability test will have a higher possibility of securing their job and demonstrating their attitude for problem solving and critical thinking to their employers. To be an associate product development scientist, the main general ability they are required to assess are nutritional science knowledge, research and evidence-based practice, and professionalism and ethics. This item will determine how well an associate product development scientist assists in improving their client health condition. And our study will more focus on assessing the specific nutritional knowledge of a nutritionist. The major aspects are micronutrient and micronutrient knowledge, biochemistry and physiology knowledge, and dietary guideline and knowledge. There are three aspects that we tend to measure in our general ability test. So the first one is the deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning involves deriving specific conclusion from general principle or premise. Furthermore, inductive reasoning involves inferring general principle or pattern for specific observation or example. And the last but not least, the problem-solving skill. Problem-solving skill involve evaluating the ability to analyze complex situations, applying knowledge, and propose effective solution. Here is a sample question for the deductive reasoning. A patient named John visits a nutritionist for a consultation. John is a 35 years old male who leads a sedentary lifestyle and has recently been diagnosed with anemia and high cholesterol. He reports being fatigued and experiencing occasional muscle cramp. So the first statement is John's diet is likely deficient in iron, which may be contributing to his anemia. The second statement, the high intake of fast food and processed snacks could be a major factor in John's high cholesterol level. The third statement, John's muscle cramps could be due to lack of certain micronutrients such as potassium and magnesium. The fourth statement, Increasing John's intake of sugary beverage will help alleviate his fatigue. The last statement, consuming more fruits, vegetables, and whole grain could improve John's overall health. So, the respondents are required to choose the correct statement and answer it. So, if you manage to answer, you get 1 point for each question. Simple question for inductive reasoning. A scientist observed that over the past year, people who incorporate more plant-based protein into their diet reported lower cholesterol level and improved heart health. These clients are also replaced red meat with legumes, tofu, and nuts. And there are four statements here. So the first one, red meat is the sole cause of high cholesterol. Second one, plant-based protein have no impact on cholesterol level. The third one, incorporating plant-based protein may contribute to lower cholesterol level and improving their heart health. The last one, all clients will experience improved heart health by eating more tofu. So in inductive reasoning, the respondent will required to choose only one correct answer. So if you manage to answer, you get 1 mark for each question. The simple question for the problem solving is different compared to the deductive and inductive reasoning. So for example, we can see that it's open answer. So there is no statement, no choosing answer, but only you can use your creativity or use analytical skill to explain about the scenario. So for example, in this scenario, you are a scientist that studying vitamin D deficiency. You found that normally people will hesitate to take supplement and prefer to get nutrients from food source. They have a lactose intolerance and following a determinate vision test. How would you approach addressing their vitamin D deficiency while considering their dietary restriction and preference? The respondent will require to answer the question by analytic about this problem and develop a plan. The scoring rule and the scoring key for deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning is very simple. The respondent who answer correctly will receive 1 point. And the same goes to the both, which is the deductive reasoning and the inductive reasoning. The scoring rule and the scoring key of the problem solving are way more different compared to the deductive and inductive reasoning. It's more complicated. For example, it will evaluate the answer from five aspects. So first one is the understanding of the problem, analysis of factors, application of nutrition knowledge, development of solution, and last but not least, implementation of strategy. Each aspect will concede 5 points. So for the 0 point, it shows that the participant failed to comprehend the problem or interpret it incorrectly. For 1 point, it shows that the candidate demonstrated a limited understanding of the problem but lacking critical detail or context. The 2 points, it shows that the participant only have partial understanding by ignoring key aspect of the problem. 3 points, it shows that the candidate understands some aspect of the problem but overlooks critical details or fails to comprehend its full complexity. And for the 4 point, it shows that the candidate demonstrates a true understanding but might have missed the tiny detail or the part of some issue. Last but not least, the higher point, 5 points. It shows that the candidate clearly comprehends the problem in conjunction, taking into account all relevant factors and consideration.
Okay, let's move into the interpretation part. As we know, the general ability assessment consists of several components. The mean scores is the score that combined from each session, which represent the candidate's overall general ability. The reference points are obtained for the past studies and test data to determine the candidate's relative performance. By comparing the result of the candidates and the reference point, the hiring manager is able to understand how well the candidates are performed. Next is the cutoff scores. Cutoff scores are usually set by the hiring manager before the evaluation. Cutoff scores helps to filter out candidates who do not meet the minimum requirement for the job application. This is also ensure that only qualified candidates are selected. Thirdly is percentiles. This is one of the selecting methods to select candidates from a large candidates pool. For instance, a candidate who scored above the 80th percentile indicated that he performed better than at least 80% from the candidate pool. Last but not least, according to Van Beneveld, 2024, beside the scoring system, other factors such as working experience, personality were also taken into consideration for the selecting purpose.
So in conclusions, the assessment methods provide a structured and also objective approach to evaluating the candidates. So these structures ensures that we are fair and also consistent, helping us to identify the best fit for the job positions. So we already explored 3 types of assessment methods such as interview, general ability test, and also resume evaluation. So each of these methods play an important role in providing a panoramic view of a candidate capabilities, characters, and also the cultural fits for the employers. So by incorporating different assessment methods, we enable ourselves to make more informed and also objective hiring decisions. So this approach also can reduce the bias and ensures that we consider all aspects of the candidate potentials. So we also emphasize the importance of customizing the combinations of the assessment method based on the job requirements and also the organization needs. So as industries and job roles continue to change every years, every days, so it is important for the employers to continuously evaluate and also adjust their assessment methods. So this ensures that our hiring process remain relevant and also effective in identifying the best candidates. So in general, applying a variety of assessment methods help us to understand each candidate's potentials to succeed in the role and also within the organizations. So this approach not only benefits the employers but also ensure the candidates are well matched to the positions they apply, where they can be success and also contribute meaningfully. So I guess that's all from our group. Thank you for listening.